So are there any cases when you could say that, hey, you don't need a title insurance? Like, can you think of any reason that the buyer does not need a
No,
title insurance?
no. Simply no. Uh, Not a single instance. Say that there's a property that's been owned by a single person for 50 years. Well, in my view, each time a property changes ownership, it's only at that time that the title searches are actually administered. Meaning during that whole 50 years of ownership, that doesn't mean there's somebody out there verifying that nothing has occurred, that there are no problems, that there are no liens that have been subsequently added at the same time. The turnover of a property creates opportunities for somebody to make a mistake. So on one hand, one could say, well, the property has been owned by a person for a significant period of time or a family. It's only been passed between the heirs. Now we've got estates involved. No big deal. I disagree. But let's just say that we found the one property with true perfect title, whatever that word means. I don't know what that would mean. But say there is such thing as perfect title, there's still the forward-looking risk associated with fraud and identity theft. And these are practical applications that, for me, it's an important consideration that while I've been doing this for a decade and grew up in the 12 years and grew up in the business, there's not a buyer that I think it would have been a good idea to not get a title insurance policy for. As a homeowner in the district myself, I have a title insurance policy. There are two types of owner's coverage. That may be something you want to discuss today, but no. The short answer is hard no.
So, just to clarify, the a buyer is not required to buy a title insurance. Is that correct? They just can buy it if they choose to. But tell us, do they have to pay for any title insurance for another party? Maybe like for about how about the lender and talk about because
Let's
I
talk
always
about the lender. I think that's a great idea because in our world, we have the golden rule, which is those who have the gold make the rules. And by this, I'm talking about the lender. So here, the lender is extending a considerable amount of money for it to facilitate the purchase by the way of a loan. The lender, the one that has the power of the purse strings, is going to require the buyer purchase a lender's title insurance policy. My opinion is that alone right there is an important illustration of why this is so important, given that all institutional lenders are going to require the purchase of a lender title insurance policy. The reason a buyer is not required by a lender to get the policy is because the buyer has already separately protected the lender. So, yes, the answer to your question is an owner's title insurance policy is optional. A lender's title policy is required, and both are important.
That's something that I always found very funny, and that's always what my answer is to buyers. Like, if it's good for the lenders and they have vastly bigger resources than any buyer and they want that insurance, why wouldn't you, right?
Well said. Yep.